So testimony part two. Now I'm fresh out. So in 2008, after serving 5 years in CYA, after that part of my life was over with, I'm fresh out. I'm touching down. And then I started pimping. Yes. So how this started. Now, like most pimps, you feel me, you hear stories how most dudes, they knock the female and they be like, yeah, it's pimp a little mama, what I'm saying, it ain't on me, it's in me, et cetera, et cetera. We know how that go. You hear stories when dudes meet girls and then they can, they call them turnouts or burnouts, what I'm saying? When they turn the female, they convince her to do what she do. But that wasn't the case with me. So basically, what happened to me was, it was in 2008, and it was me, my little brother, and my homeboy Gas, Young Gas. For some of y'all know him as a rapper. What I'm saying? He rapped with Jay, Ryder J. Clyde from the Bay Area, underground rapper. But it was me, my little brother, and my brother, Young Gas. And Young Gas, what I'm saying, he a P, what I'm saying? He was in the game tough, he is 16, what I'm saying? So he really was, he was doing his thizzle. But at this time, I didn't know nothing about any of that. What I'm saying? I was just a D-boy. Me and my brother, you feel me? We used to sell dope and we used to kick down houses, what I'm saying? Go in houses and kick down doors. So that was like our little thing, you feel me? I wasn't in the game. I didn't have no 304, wasn't no 16 and none of that. Well, on this specific day, we was in Sacramento on Watt Avenue. And Watt, if you stay in Washington, Seattle, you feel me? Watt is like Aurora, you feel me? If anybody know about Aurora is like, you feel me, one of them places where it be running up and down, what I'm saying? It be 304s everywhere. So Watt Avenue was like that in 2008, 2009. But we on the, what I'm saying, we on the stroll because it was my brother's birthday. So me and my bro, you feel me, my little bro, we going to Chevrons. When we walk into Chevrons, you feel me, no cap, we seen two females and they were bad. One of them name was Mercedes. And Mercedes should describe her, she was Mexican. But she was one of the Mexican girls that dressed real flashy, like Paris Hilton. I always describe her and compare it to Paris Hilton because Paris Hilton's one of them girls. She real prissy, keep the dog, dress heck of flamboyant and whatnot. So that's how Mercedes was. She was like fly, flashy, bad. You feel me? And then she had her other homegirl with her. Her name was Kim. Kim was a white girl, blonde hair, you feel me, blue eyes. What I'm saying? She was, bulky up front or whatnot. And I wasn't gonna say nothing to him. You feel me? I'm just a regular D-boy. I'm fresh out, what I'm saying? I ain't think nothing about nothing. Well, we standing behind the line, right? So they in front of us, we in Chevrons, and me and my little brother, we was going there to get some swishers. And we standing back there, behind them, and my little bro, you feel me, he looked and he was like, oh, what's up with y'all? What y'all about to get into? And both of the females, they turned around. And Mercedes, she looked at me and she was like, you? And I'm like, oh, hold on, what's happening? You feel me? So immediately, I'm like, what's good? What's your name? Et cetera, et cetera. She told me. She gave me her number. She like, hey, call me in like 30 minutes. I said, bet, I'm gonna call you. So you feel me, bet, I'm gonna hop in the whip. We get what we get. We hop in the whip with my brother, Young Guys, and we continue on our day. About 30 minutes later, I call Mercedes. When I called her, you feel me, she forwarded the phone number, send me straight to voicemail. But I wasn't tripping, I figured, she was super bad. She was out of my league anyway, So I wasn't worried or nothing about it. Well, literally 3 weeks later, I'm on a block, you feel me? And I get this phone call. And I answer the phone. Now back in those days, you feel me, if you were a player or something like that, so I used to have heck of girls. So, most dudes who have, different women, if it was hard for us to save numbers. So me, I was bad with saving numbers. You feel me? So a girl would call me, even though I didn't know who she was, I would act like I knew exactly who she was. You feel me? Because, it's been altercations or different times where I would be like, who is this? And the girl would be like, really? You got that many girls? And, hang up in my face. So I would play it off. So when she called me, I'm talking to her like I know who she was, but I'm trying to, figure out where I know her from, right? From the conversation, but I couldn't place it. I only seen her one time. But I'm like, who is this? She told me her name. I didn't even remember the name. You feel me? And I'm chopping it up and I'm like, hey, I'm busy, but, send me a picture so I can save for the contacts. That was, another way of me of finding out who it was. She was like, okay, bet. So she sent me a picture. When I get the picture, I see this female on the picture, super bad. And she had on I'll never forget, she had on a pink fur coat. And she had like this model picture with the background and the hair, looking like a little movie star, no cap. And I'm looking at the picture and I'm like, dang. I'm like, bro, who is this? And that's how I'm talking to myself, right? I'm trying to figure out who this female is. And for the life of me, bro, I couldn't recognize her. So I'm sitting back. Now I'm thinking like it's probably a girl that I'm talking to trying to set me up. You feel me? You know how I'm saying sometimes they how they homegirls, back in the day, they used to how they homegirls call you and set you up. So I'm not really pressing no issue. So when I see it, I'm like, okay, I don't even know this chick. Whatever. Left like that. So maybe about an hour or two, I get down doing them. No, I say about like 2, 3 hours. I get down doing what I'm doing and I hit her up. I'm like, hey, what you doing? Where you at? Because now I'm trying to go see where she at. Is this person real? And she told me, she was like, yeah, I'm on what? And remind you, I'm a D-boy. So pimping ain't never been in my mind. Ism ain't never been in my mind. You feel me? I spent all my childhood days in the penitentiary, locked up in this jail cell. So, I never had an experience with girlfriends. I was a V, a V is a virgin. I wasn't with none of that. I didn't even have that mind frame. I was a fighter, a warrior, a dope boy. When I was a kid, my dreams, I had 2 dreams. I never wanted to be a policeman, never wanted to be a fireman, a lawyer. My 2 dreams was I wanted to be a rapper and I wanted to be the biggest dope dealer in California. That was my dream. You feel me? So fast forward, bam, I go link up with her, right? So she like, she stayed at the Days Inn on Watt and come meet up with her over there. You feel me? I'm like, all right, bet, cool. So I go, you feel me? Now, hold on. Before I get to her spot, right? So I chopped it up with her. I'm on a bus headed to where she at. And after we chop it up, she was like, yeah, I'm over here on Watt at the Days Inn. I'm like, all right, bet. So we hang up the phone. As I'm riding, I'm trying to figure like where I know this chick from. And I'm racking my mind, right? And then it hit me, boom. I'm like, oh, that was her. So then I remember that she was the one that I met 3 weeks ago at the gas station. So now I'm like, wait, Juice, you feel me? I'm excited. I'm like, okay, cool. I get to the hotel, you feel me? She like, let's smoke. So she rolled up, you feel me? We smoke or whatnot. And this is my testimony. I'm just being authentic. So we smoke or whatnot, you feel me? And then right then and there, we kicked it a little bit and she was like, you feel me, spend a night. So we did what we do, For those who know, we did what we did. And after we did that, I remember that first night she looked at me while we was going to sleep and she was like, oh, I'm keeping you. You ain't going nowhere. And I didn't really knew what that meant at the time. I'm just kind of like used to that. So I was like, okay, yo, for sure, whatever. So the next morning I wake up, I head to the block. You feel me? I'm on the block doing my thing. She calls me. Hey, what you doing? I'm like, I'm on the block. She said, when you done, come back through. We gonna smoke. I'm like, bet, where you gonna be at? I'm gonna be at the Days Inn on Watt. Cool. Came back through, smoke, did the do again. You feel me? Woke up the next morning, I head to the block. You feel me? It was a repeat. She hit me up. Hey, what you doing? I'm on the block. When you done, come through. You feel me? We gonna smoke. I'm like, all right, bet. I go through. Now, when I wake up that morning, my pockets was a little bit low. You feel me? So I asked her, I'm like, hey, let me hold 20. Because I was going to take that 20 and get a jug. Take that 20, go to the block, turn that 20 to 40, turn that 40 to 80, turn that 80 to 160, and then be back up, and then just pay her the 20 at the end of the day. So she was like, yep, it's good. Look at my purse. She laying in the bed. So I open up her purse, right? And in her purse, it was nothing but 50s and 100s. But it was a stack of money, right? And I'm looking, I'm like, what the heck? So I'm like, hey, you ain't got no 20s in here? And she was like, huh? I said, you ain't got no 20s? She was like, nah, just take a 50. And I was like, nah, I don't want a 50. Because I don't want to pay her back a whole 50. I'll pay her back that 20, but not that whole 50. So she was like, just take a 50, it's good. I'm like, oh, all right. So I took that 50 and I left. Now, for the whole day, I'm on a block and I'm like, man, I'm thinking like, in my mind, I'm thinking like, okay, she said that she was from Oregon. So when we got to know each other, she told me that she was from Oregon and she'd been in Sacramento for 2 months. You feel me? And she's been at that hotel for 2 months. So when I seen that money that day, I'm starting to put pieces together. I met her on a stroll, you feel me, on White Avenue. She had 50s and 100s all in her purse. She said she'd been out here for 2 months and she'd been staying at that hotel for 2 months. So I'm thinking like, man, is she a goer? You feel me? And in those days, we used to call them a goer. You feel me? No, now they 304s. But I'm like, bro, is she a goer? So, you feel me? After, I do my thing on the block, I go back. You feel me? Of course, bam, it's the third day. So I go back in the hotel. She roll up, we smoking. And I'm sitting there, right? And I asked her, I was like, hey, if you don't mind me asking, how you get your money? And then she looked at me and she was like, you know how I get my money. And I was like, yeah, I kind of put that together today. And she said, well, the question is, do you want to get money with me? And I was like, man, I don't even know how to do that. Like, what I'm supposed to do? I ain't no P. And she was like, don't worry, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know. And then she taught me the steps. First thing first, never let your face be seen. Second thing first, always stay out the way. And then we had a program. Third thing first, we set goals. You know what I'm saying? We set goals for what we want that day. So we had a program, right? She taught me everything in one night. So the next morning, she woke up at 7 in the morning. She was like, okay, what we need? I said, we need a car. And at that time, everybody was riding scrapers. For those who don't know, scrapers are Buick LeSabres, Buick Park Avenues, Buick Regals, you feel me, all that. So I wanted me a Buick Regal, you feel me, a scraper. So she was like, all right, bet. We looking at Auto Trader. We see one that was at the lot for like 2,000, 2,200, 2,500 at the lot. We called the dude. He was like, yeah, you feel me, you come down with 2,000, I'll let you have a car. We like, bet. So we wrote that goal down. Man, she woke up at 7 in the morning, 7 a.m. By 3 p.m., she had made $1,500. And I had all the money in my pocket. I'll never forget, right? So she would make, she would go do her thing and leave the money in a trash can in the hotel underneath the trash bag. And then when she leaves, she'll call me. We had a system. I ain't gonna really get into details on the system, but we had this system going on because I want to glorify that life. But we had the system. And then I would go in the bathroom. I would, take the trash bag out, get the money and pocket it. So at 3, she came. She was like, how much money we got? I didn't even count it. She was like, you didn't count the money? I was like, I was waiting for you. She was like, all right. So we counted it. She made $1,500. So I called the dude. He was like, if you got $1,500 cash right now, I'll let you get the car right now. Bet. So me and my little brother, you feel me? We about to go hop on a bus. So then, Mercedes, she looked at me and she was like, look, you're going to do 2 things with this money. She said, you can take this money, you can play me, and I'll never see you again. Or you can take this money, go get the car, come back, and we can make some more. And I was like, I'm about to go get this car and be right back, right? So she was like, all right. So boom, we hop on a bus, me and my little brother. She stayed on the block and kept making money. So I remember the feeling, you know what I'm saying? I'm fresh out of CYA. I ain't never had $1,500 in my pocket at one time in one day. And I remember, my pockets was like bulging, you feel me? Because, you got some 1s or 10s or 20s in there, but it's bulging. And I'll never forget, I was sitting on the bus and I'm sitting there thinking like, bruh, you know what I'm saying? Like, what the heck? And then my little brother, you feel me? Remind you, we dope boys. So he was like, bruh, forget that chick, bro. We got $1,500. We can go flip a P. We can go buy a pound right now. Bro, flip this P and be up. You feel me? And that's how he was thinking, bro. Forget her. We about to go take this $1,500, go get a pound, you know what I'm saying, to be up. And I looked at my little bro and I was like, bruh, what did we do today? He was like, what you mean? I was like, what did we do today? He was like, nothing. I was like, exactly, bro. I said, all we did was sit in the hotel, monitor her, smoke all day, and made $1,500. I said, bro, I'm never selling drugs again. No cap. And I was like, bro, I'm in a game. And took that $1,500, bam, go get the car, came back. She was excited because, I came back. And at the time, now I know that was her little choosing fee. You feel me? And then from then on, for about 7 months straight, bro, we in the game. I'll say 8 months, bro. I'm in the game, you know what I'm saying? I'm deep, it was her. And then two of my homegirls, one named Lil Go Dummy, you feel me? Her name was Ebony, but we called her Lil Go Dummy. And then the Asian girl we had, her name was Kim. And Lil Go Dummy and Kim was best friends, but they knew me from my D-boy days. So they had, basically I ran into Lil Go Dummy. And she see me dripped out. I'm in a Regal scraper, you go grill, you feel me, the whole 9. And she was looking like, bro, what you doing? And I told her what it was. And I'm like, I never called it a P thing. I would just be like, you feel me, you can join the family. I always said it a family. I never believed in a team. I was like, hey, this is a family thing. And she wanted to see, you feel me, Mercedes. So I ended up showing a picture of Mercedes. And based off of how Mercedes looked, bro, Kim joined the family. And Lil Go Dummy, aka Ebony, she joined the family. So then from that point on, you feel me, I'm 30 toes down. You feel me, I'm 3 deep. So, for 6-7 months, I'm getting paper, right? And then everything changed. First thing that changed, my little brother. So at that time, you feel me, my little brother, he was with me every single day. Like that was my right-hand man, you feel me? And, you know what I'm saying, as I'm getting my money, my brother, he fitted too, you know what I'm saying? I'm getting him stuff, you know what I'm saying? I'm making sure he eat, you know what I'm saying? He basically my right-hand man. But, you know what I'm saying, I wanted to put my little bro on. So the incident took place, right? My little bro, you know what I'm saying, he always kept pistols. We always kept guns on us, right? So one day, little Gas, remember Gas from the first beginning of the story. So Gas hits me up. He like, hey, bro, you feel me? The P's, you know what I'm saying, the 16s want to have a meeting with you. I said, about what? He was like, bro, B, you feel me? Your little bro, he's out here robbing. He was robbing all the 304s on the blade. And all the P's basically felt some type of way, and they was going to knock little bro down. So they wanted to have a meeting with me because they connected that was my little brother, and they knew that, you know, Sam Mercedes was my 304. So I had a meeting with the P's at the Church's Chicken. And they was like, look, bro, you feel me? They wanted me to bring my little brother. So I brought my little bro, you feel me? And they was like, bro, you got to stop this or, it's going to be an issue. And they was trying to come in as respectfully like gentlemen. Because, in this game, it's a no contact sport, you feel me? So it ain't about robbing and shooting. It ain't no gang banging sport, you feel me? So they was speaking, you know what I'm saying, trying to talk to my little bro. My little bro was like, bro, I can do what I want, et cetera, et cetera. So I can tell that my little bro, you feel me, he was, bringing a different mind frame into this sport that we was playing. So what I do, I gave him little go dummy. I gave him Ebony. I'm like, hey, bro, here. You know what I'm saying? When she came in and paid me, I was like, hey, pay my brother. Get that to my little brother. And she was like, what? I said, get that to my little brother. And she gave it to him. And I was like, bro, this you and you, that's her. You know what I'm saying? Y'all a team. So he's all excited, like, for sure. But my little brother, you know what I'm saying, fumbled the ball. So he ended up, instead of, following the pattern, he ended up catching feelings for little go dummy. He was, they were doing their thing, you know what I'm saying? And when I say the thing, you feel me, you know what I'm talking about. They was doing their thing, and he ended up getting her pregnant. So I never forget, at that time, my mind was so twisted and corrupted that, you feel me, I'm really like, I'm a P now, you know what I'm saying? I'm really in the game. So I'm looking like, bro, I don't care if she pregnant or not, bro. She gotta, you feel me? Because they was staying with me and Mercedes. And Mercedes was telling me, like, listen, I'm not out here getting this money for them. You feel me? They're going to have to do their own thing. So I told my little bro, like, listen, bro, she got to get some chicken. You feel me? Because all she was doing all day was sitting in a hotel smoking all day. And he was like, bro, that's my baby mama, bro. And I'm like, I don't care who she is, bro. So me and my little brother get into an argument, right? And, me being big, bro, I try to use that flex. Like, bro, who you talking to? And at the time, you feel me, my little bro, you feel me, he whipped out a gun. And he whipped out his gun and he looked at me and he was like, I don't fight no more, bruh. And I was like, what? And he was like, I don't fight no more, bruh. And I'm thinking like, so bruh, you really about to try to shoot me? And when I said that, you feel me? That's what switched and changed me and my brother's relationship. So from that day forward, you feel me? Me and him separated. And me and my bro relationship never was the same after that. I never respected him nor looked at him the same because how you put a gun on me over a 304 because that a 304 that I gave you and she pregnant. So at the time my mind was twisted. But once we separated, I'm full-fledged in the game, right? So now I remember when I was locked up in CYA, I had a mentor. His name was Kevin Kemp. And they had started this program in California Youth Authority called Project Impact. And the impact was an acronym for Incarcerated Man Putting Away Childish Things, IMPACT. So it was Project Impact, Incarcerated Man Putting Away Childish Things. And once I got home, now Kevin Kemp, he was a Christian. He was a musician at the church. He played the piano really good, played the jazz, played the drums. He was like an all-around musician. And he went to this church in Elk Grove. So once I got out, he took a liking to me. So it would be on certain days and certain Sundays, he'd be like, Kev, come to church with me, come to church. And I'd go to church, right? So on this specific day, he was like, what you doing? I tell him I'm on a blade. He was like, all right, bro, come to the church. I'm going to come pick you up. I'm like, all right, bet. He come pick me up, you feel me? I walk in the church, and the pastor of the church, he looks at me. And he was just staring at me, and I was like, hey, what's up? And the pastor looks at me and says, God wants me to tell you, if you don't stop doing what you're doing, you're going to go to jail for a very long time. And I'm like, what? And he was like, God told me to tell you, if you don't stop doing what you're doing, you're going to go to jail for a very long time. And I'm sitting there thinking like, All right. I ain't tell him nothing. Kevin Kemp didn't even know what I was doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't even know I was on a blade doing my thing. You feel me? So after I leave the church, I go back to the blade. I can't make this up. The very next day, you feel me? Crazy part. The very next day, I end up going to the studio. You know what I'm saying? Mercedes, she's on the blade. You feel me? She on the block. She getting her chicken. So I come from the studio. I pick her up. We drive to the hotel. When we pull into the hotel parking lot, the police pull right in behind us and block us off. So my car is like this. They're like this. You feel me? And I'm like, what the heck? They bounce out the car. Get out the car. You know what I'm saying? I get out the car, Mercedes get out the car. They handcuff me, throw me in the back of the car. They take her to the side. And they ask her if I'm her P. And she was like, what? No. And they said, we see you out here. We know what you do. And she was like, I don't know what you're talking about. This is my boyfriend. So they asked me, they was like, is she a 304? But they didn't use that word. And I'm like, nah, bro, that's my girlfriend. What you talking about? She don't do this. And they was like, why are you in a hotel? So I used to be real finessing back then. So back then in California, when I first got paroled, I got paroled to California. So my ID was California. When I moved to Sacramento, you feel me? I had my license in Sacramento. So when I stayed in Sacramento, I would have a Oakland, California ID. But when I went to Oakland, I would keep a Sacramento, California ID. So if I got pulled over, it'd make it seem like I'm out of town. You feel me? So in Sac, I kept my Oakland ID on me. But in Oakland, I used to keep my Sac ID on me. So at this particular time, I had my Oakland ID. And they was like, why are you staying in the hotel? And I was like, man, I'm from Oakland, bro. You feel me? I just came out here to visit my girl. What you talking about? You feel me? This is my girlfriend. What you mean she a 304? And so they ran my name, see that I had an address in Hayward at the time of my pop's house. So they let me go, but they was like, yeah, we know who she is and we know who you are. So then once they let us both go, she didn't tell, she didn't flip. But after that, it like shook me, right? So I'm like, okay, you feel me? I started talking to God a little bit more. And I remember what the pastor said. So it was ringing in my mind, but I'm still not submitting. You know what I'm saying? I'm still not taking heed, but I am a little bit. So then I started, and this is when I say, you feel me? In that type of game, you really got to be cold-hearted. You feel me? And I'm cold-hearted to a certain extent. And I'll get to that testimony a little bit later. You know what I'm saying? Shootouts, you know what I'm saying? Robberies, you know what I'm saying? Things like that. But when it came to that profession, I wasn't so cold-hearted. And so what switched me, how I ended up leaving the game. So I started, Mercedes, you feel me? I started catching feelings for her. Even though she was doing what she was doing, what attracted me to her was the honesty about it. Like, she wasn't cheating, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Even though she was doing for money, she wasn't sneaky. You know what I'm saying? It was open. I knew exactly what was going on. I knew exactly who she was. And it was no secrets in our relationship. It wasn't she was trying to act like she was a good girl, but she got all these other dudes on the side. It wasn't none of that. It wasn't that she was trying to act like a Christian woman, but behind closed doors, she's a freak and she nasty. It wasn't none of that. It was exactly what it was, is what you get. So I felt in love with the realness, right? So then I asked her, I was like, hey man, what get you into this? Like, what made you start, you know what I'm saying, doing this? And she kept a stack and she told me, she said, when she was 17 years old, she was dating this one dude who was older than her. And the one dude she was dating, I guess he was a P, but she didn't know at the time. But how he did it was out of pocket. So one day, you feel me, dude come in and he was like, hey, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna let my partner have sex with you. And she was like, what? And he was like, man, he already paid me. So you feel me, just go in the room, close your eyes and act like it's me. And she said she was 17, she was in love with bruh, so she really didn't really know how to take that. So dude came in there, bruh friend came in there and had sex with her and paid him. And then once he did that, she said that her dude got mad. You feel me? For some odd reason, he got mad. So then he let other dudes start doing it. So the other dudes would give him the money, and then he'd make her go in the room, close her eyes, or she'll close her eyes and act like it was him, and then have these dudes come in and have sex with her. So then that's how she started. Then it went from there to her dancing. Then she started dancing in Oregon. You feel me? She started dancing at these strip clubs, but she was still a minor, underage person. You feel me? So he was lying about the age and whatnot, but she was dancing. Then after the dancing is when he put her on a full blade. Like, he put her out there on the streets, you know what I'm saying, and started getting money. And at that time, back when I was doing it, the internet really wasn't popping. It was starting to pop, but The internet wasn't popping like how it's popping nowadays. You feel me? Back then it was like, 10 toes down. So she started hitting the blade. She started being a streetwalker. You feel me? And from that point forward, she said that once she left him, she came to California. She basically was a renegade. And a renegade means a woman who doesn't have a P. She ain't got no 16. She's just out there by herself, getting it by herself because that's all she knows. So then she became a renegade. And then from that point forward, she was just, doing her thing back and forth to Cali, back and forth to Oregon, and just kept it like that. So once she told me that story, I ain't gonna cap. I felt hecka bad, bro. I was like, because you don't see. This is the thing about being in a game like that. People make it seem real glamorous. And it seems like it's glamorous. You get your chicken, you get your money. Like you can be broke today, you can have no money today, and then you can be up 2,000 or more. You know what I'm saying? It just happens like that. You feel me? You can lose that money in 2,000. You know what I'm saying? Tomorrow you're gonna be up 2,000. The next day you can be broke again. You know what I'm saying? But in that game, it seems so glamorous because, everybody got gold, everybody got jewelry, you in those nice foreign cars, you banked up, you feel me? And then you see the P, he got multiple beautiful women that he's sleeping with. Ain't no P people tell you on TV, I don't sleep with my girls, bro, that's cat. You know what I'm saying? Understand that. That's 110% cat, bro. Even somebody might leave a comment, no, cat. You feel me? So it seems glamorous, you know what I'm saying? It seems like it's one of them lifestyle. But I've actually met women who will say this is what they know and this is what they love. I've met women who say they love this. And a lot of times, you feel me, some of the girls, they grow up in this. They mamas was 304s and they grandmamas was 304s and they aunties was 304s. So they come from a long line of 304s. So sometimes this is all they know. Just like with P's, you feel me? The 16s come from a long line of that. So sometimes this is all they were taught. But within that game, man, women get raped 24/7, dudes get robbed, get beat, go to prison. You know what I'm saying? It's not a lifestyle. Once you know the ins and outs, it's a horrible way to live. And 9 times out of 10, 80 to 85% of the people in that game was on hardcore drugs. You know what I'm saying? You got to understand, if a woman's out there, she's sleeping with 10 to 15 dudes a day, bro, that's not natural or normal. And then you gotta numb yourself. The P, he gotta numb himself to the feelings and the emotions. And the woman, she got to numb herself to feelings and emotions. You feel me? Because they're dealing with so many people and individuals. So the game ain't really as glamorous as social media or as people would paint it. It's really a horrible game that'll really affect your heart. So a lot of P's and a lot of 304s, they teach themselves to be cold-hearted, to be hard. You feel me? And then you got to convince yourself that, you know what I'm saying, it's not a like an inappropriate thing. You got to convince yourself that you're doing it for money or you're doing it for a lifestyle. So I say all that to say this, you feel me? One thing I've always, I guess you can say, took pride in, and not pride in a negative way, but one thing I always respected about myself was I might lie to you. I might lie to the police, but I never lied to myself. You feel me? I can't lie to myself because I might be manipulative or deceptive to someone else, but when it comes to myself, I can't deceive myself. You feel me? So I had to be real with myself, and that was always the problem in some situations. And in this situation, I couldn't act like that wasn't disturbing. Like how she told me she got into the lifestyle, how she told me she did it, that really kind of tugged on my heart. I'm not gonna sit here and hold you. So then I started, I ain't even gonna cap, you feel me? After about maybe 3 weeks after that story and then the incident with the police and the pastor, I backed off from it. You feel me? But she was still doing it. So when I say I backed off, we stayed together in a hotel. You feel me? Little Gold Dummy, she went with my brother. Kim, now the Asian girl, Kim, that we had, she ended up stopping. Like, she wasn't really about that lifestyle. She was like, at first, like, she liked the glamorous. But when she got involved in it, it wasn't really what she wanted. So she been left. She was only rocking for like maybe, what I'm saying? I want to say maybe a month or two. But now with me and Mercedes, what I'm saying? I backed off from it. But we still stand together and she's still getting her money. So when she was getting her money, she was trying to bring it to me. I didn't want it. But at the same time, we stand together in the hotel. We still busting moves. I'm still protecting her. And then it came to the point, I'll never forget, I went to church. And when I went to church, man, the pastor had a sermon. and it really affected my heart. You feel me, in a good way. So I remember I came back, and little Gold Dummy is crazy. Little Gold Dummy ended up coming back around. So she ended up losing a baby somehow, some way, and she left my brother. You know, so my brother had a cocaine problem. Fortunately for me, I never had a drug problem. I don't drink. Only thing I used to do was smoke a lot of weed, but I don't drink. I never did drugs, none of that stuff. But you know, my bro did. So she ended up coming back to me. But the time when she came back around, I was transitioning from being a P to being this man of God. So then, you know what I'm saying? When she came back, I ended up telling both of them. I ain't gonna lie, I wrote a whole rap about it. And I told them I couldn't do this no more. I told them that I was going to church and I gotta pursue my thing for Christ. And you know, little Gold Dummy, she was like, all right, she respected it. And then, you know, say about after a week, she went back to her regular lifestyle. But Mercedes, she stuck around. And then once I moved, so I ended up getting me an apartment. I ended up getting a job. You feel me? I stopped doing everything. I ended up getting a job at the Urban League, working as a maintenance man. And then I ended up getting blessed with my apartment. Again, once I moved into my apartment, I remember Mercedes was trying to come with me, but I told her, you couldn't rock with me in this lifestyle. You feel me? Because I'm not trying to do that. You got to submit to Christ all the way. And, you know, when you first become a Christian, you know what I'm saying? You got this, you know, you're excited, but then you know, you're more guarded. It's crazy, right? So I'm like, you can't, you know, you got to be a Christian or not. And she ended up going her separate ways. We ended up going our separate ways. She ended up moving to Stockton. Fast forward, maybe about 2-3 years later, she ended up hitting my dad up. I ended up connecting with Mercedes, and guess what? Mercedes was a Christian. She ended up going to church in Stockton and giving her life to Jesus Christ. And we did come together and try to do the relationship thing, and literally it was like for 2 weeks, but it wasn't the same. Like I wasn't glamorous, she wasn't glamorous, and that was really wasn't it was. It was for some odd reason when we tried to do this relationship together, it didn't work. It was like when we were in the game, we was like this. Like that was my best friend. Like every day we kicking it. I never put my hands on her. I was never one of them violent dudes like that. You feel me? I never put my hands on her. Never, you know, saying we didn't have no problems. But once we became in a relationship, we argued every day. It was weird for like 2-3 weeks. So we separated, and I hope she's doing good right now. Okay, back to the story. So after that, 2009, I'm going to church. And then this is how Jesus Christ entered into my life. And then my struggle with spirituality started happening, my battle. So in 2009, I started going to church. And at this time, I was doing rap, but I really wasn't rapping for God like that. Well, I ended up getting invited to this Christian concert from one of the church members. I go there. I see all these Christian rappers, you feel me? And I was like, oh, okay. Some of it was cool, some of it was trash, you know what I'm saying? But it was still the atmosphere. So I ended up clicking with one of these Christian rappers named Chosen the Theologian, aka Matthew Ballin. He was one of the first ones. D Glory, Darnell Crawford, aka Glory Tunes. He was the second one. Frank Rilla, you feel me? He was the third one. And I clicked up with them, right? So how it started, I remember I was downtown and I was with my brother and my partner. And can't forget my boy Yeshai, Jesse Delgado, aka Yeshai. You feel me? That was my mentor for a long time. And so I remember one day before the Christian rap stuff, right? I was downtown and I was with my brother, and we was downtown Sacramento. And we walking, and it was this dude out there. You feel me? He was out there preaching the word of God. And I remind you, I'm probably like 20 years old, and he was like, D Glory was like what, maybe 17, 18. You feel me? And he out there, you know, he looked like a hood dude though. He out there preaching the word of God. And I remember looking at this cat and I was thinking like, bro, who is this dude? You feel me? And he walked up to me and my partners. He walked up to us and he looked at me and he said, bro, you know the truth. And I'm looking at him like, what? And he was like, you know the truth, bro. You know the truth. And I'm like, for sure, bro. And I kept it pushing. Literally, probably like 9 months later, I ended up linking up with my homie Chosen. So the homie Chosen, he was a Christian rapper. So he invited me to go to this little Christian concert. So I ended up going there and I meet D Glory, the same dude who 9 months before had told me that I knew the truth. He was a rapper. So I ended up linking up with them, started doing rap songs, right? Christian rap songs, started doing concerts. And then we met the GOAT of all times, You feel me? And that's the homie Frank Rilla. When I tell you, for those who know, y'all know. For those, his name was ringing in the penitentiary because of his music. For those who know, y'all know Frank Rilla, the GOAT. I linked up with Frank Rilla, and he changed my entire life, man. So the first time I met Rilla, now Frank Rilla was one of them cats, bro. He's a musical genius. He's like the Kanye of Christian rap, but mixed with some E40, some Turf Talk. Like, he's a genius, right? This dude's making beats out of pots and pans and recording them and then making a hit. Like, he's fired. Where Frank Rilla kept a computer with him. See, not a laptop, a whole computer. Like, this dude would keep a whole computer with him. So I had my own apartment at the time. So when I first met Frank Rilla, you feel me? I seen him at a show and I'm like, bro, this slap. Who is this dude? We connect. He was like, bro, I can come to your house and I could turn your house to a studio. I'm like, bet. He came over the next day, bro. He stayed with me for about 5 months. Didn't leave. He converted my whole room in my closet to a studio with a studio booth. And from that point forward, I was locked in. I'm going to church basically every day. We going to Christian concerts. I'm a part of Christian concerts. I'm rapping for God. I'm dropping Christian albums. And now my foundation was Christian artists. I'm meeting, Yeshai, Jesse Delgado. I met Chosen the Theologian. I met CJ Emilus. You feel me? What's up with it, buddy? Proud of you. You know what I'm saying? If you don't know CJ Emilus, man, he connected with Miles Minnick. I met CJ Emilus. You feel me? I'm meeting all these Christian rappers, all these artists, all these pastors, going to all these churches. I met Seven. You feel me? Everybody know who Seven is from Hog Mom. You feel me? I met Oasis. You know what I'm saying? I'm meeting everybody. And man, bro, it was a whole world that I never knew exist. And for about, no cap, man, for about 3 years, I'm locked in. I'm celibate. I'm not smoking, having sex. Like, to be celibate, from that lifestyle to be celibate for 3 years, really seeking and living for God and going hard for Jesus Christ. And we used to have this thing called Yeshua movement, aka J's Up. And we used to throw the J's up. And man, we was like, it was fire, you feel me? And then I ended up getting introduced to this church. And the pastor name was Pastor Jerry. And it was this one deacon, his name was Eric. And Deacon Eric, he owned the record label called Gospel House at the time. And it was me, the homie K. Russo, the homie M3, the homie AD, aka Adriel Cotton, M3, Lamar Smith, and then the homie Chosen, you feel me? But the Black Chosen, aka James Evans, you feel me? That's the homie. And we end up basically all getting signed with Gospel House. Dream come true. Finally signed to a gospel record label. Finally, you know what I'm saying, in this real studio, doing real things, and end up going to the same church. So once we started going to this church, now this is about 2010. We going to the church, we doing our thing, but at this time, my grandma, you know what I'm saying, my grandma was the woman who raised me. I never had my mom, as you know from part one. You feel me? Part one, my mom's abandoned me. She never really wanted nothing to do with me. Never was in my life. So the woman in my life was my grandma. That's my dad's mom. So my grandma Diane raised me. Well, around this time, she started getting sick. And around the same time, I'm doing tours now. I done elevated to the point, me, Yeshai, and the other homie, we started doing tours. And I'm in Arizona, I'm in Washington, I'm in Utah. Like, we doing tours now. And I'm thinking, like, I'm doing the work of God. You know what I'm saying? God's going to heal my grandma. And, all these preachers, and I'm praying for my grandma. She's going to get healed and all this stuff, right? So I'm out here thinking that, by me doing the work of God, that he would heal my grandma and do all these things. But that wasn't the case. So I remember my dad calls me. He was like, your grandma wants to see you. And I was on tour. I'm like, oh, all right. She was in a hospital at this time. So I go see my grandma for the first time in a hospital. And I remember seeing her. She was on a bed and she was weak. Now, my grandma's been the strongest woman I've ever known. She's 4'11", but boy, she would beat you down. Like, my grandma don't play. And I never seen her look so weak or look so helpless. You feel me? In a hospital. And that broke me down, right? Now, my family on my dad's side never seen me cry. You know what I'm saying? I mean, of course, when you were a kid, but as a man, nobody seen me cry. So I would go outside to the car, and I'll never forget. I remember I prayed, and I was like, Lord, why aren't you healing my grandma? And then the doctor said that basically she was going to die. The only thing to do was make her comfortable. And I remember when I heard that, I remember going into my uncle's car, and he had some weed in the car. And I remember lighting up the joint. And for the first time in years, 4 to 5 years, bro. No, it's like first time in like 3 years, 3 or 4 years, I hit the blunt. You feel me? I smoked. After I smoked that first weed, everything I started going downhill. You feel me? So, bam, I remember, but it was still a battle. So I remember um, I was mad at God. I remember they brought my granny home, and then my granny died in my room. Crazy part, she died in my room at my dad's house. And in front of me, my cousin Tank Tank, my dad, all my family was there on a specific day because it was like 2 days before Thanksgiving. So all the family there, and we knew this was gonna be her last Thanksgiving. So everybody was there. And we was all in the room, and I never forget, me and my cousin Missy, we walked in the room because we was asking everybody, we was about to go to the store. So we was asking everybody, hey, what y'all want from the store? So I go up to the room because in the room, my cousin Tank Tank was there. My auntie, a couple of my other cousins was in the room. So we was asking them. And while we were asking them, my cousin Tank Tank, she was laying in the bed with my grandma. My grandma took her last breath and died right in front of us. And that was the first time my family ever seen me cry. And I don't know how to do that, but I will say this, and I have to say this. During that time when my grandma was when she was on her deathbed, I remember I was at my dad's house, and my grandma said she called me over there because my dad used to have a microphone, like the little speaker in her room, like when you got a baby and you got the baby monitor and you can hear. He had that baby monitor in her room, and she called for me. So I go up there, and I was reading the Bible, and I looked at my grandma and I said, Grandma, do you want to give your life to Jesus Christ? And she said, yeah. And I said, do you want to be saved? She said, yes, baby. And right then and there, I did the sinner's prayer with my grandma. And she gave her life to Jesus Christ, and she cried. And then she wanted me to turn on Joel Osteen. And man, you feel me? And maybe like a week or two later, you feel me, she passed. But God was able to allow me to lead my grandma to Christ. So her soul is in heaven, you feel me? But fast forward. So once my granny passed, you feel me? I was hurt. I was lost, and I was mad. So I remember I called the pastor at a church I was going to, Pastor Jerry. And I called him because I don't my family, my dad's side, they're not into church like that. So I couldn't talk to them about the spiritual tormenting that I was going through. I couldn't talk to them about, my spiritual battles because they don't know. You know what I'm saying? So I called my pastor. And I remember, I'll never forget this. I called him and I was like, Pastor, I was like, man, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like giving up. I feel like going back to the streets. I feel like selling dope. I feel like pimping. I feel like just leaving this Christian walk alone. And the pastor said, man, well, this was his exact words. He said, well, I hope to see you on Sunday. I hope to see you at church on Sunday, Lord willing. And I was like, what? And he said, well, I hope to see you at church on Sunday, Lord willing. And I was like, bro, I just told you how I feel, and that's all you have to say? And the pastor said, I'm not here to cater to your feelings, Kevin. And I was like, cater to my feelings? And he was like, yeah, I'm not here to cater to your feelings. And I was like, all right, okay. And I hung up the phone. And from that day, I never went back to that church. That day, I left God. That was around 2010, 2011. I left God. And that's when I walked away from the church, walked away from the Christian rap at that time, and started thugging, started selling drugs. And one of my first accounts of getting into it was so I met these Asian dudes, right? First shootout. So I met these Asian dudes. I ended up getting locked up. That's when I started getting locked up more often. It was crazy. I started getting locked up for domestic violence, you know what I'm saying? Meeting women, putting my hands on them, just being back in the game. And I got locked up, right? So when I get locked up, I meet this Asian dude named Tran. Now, Tran was locked up. And when I was locked up, everybody knew my name, but I was always like, I keep to myself. I don't really like to associate with cats, right? I kind of just do me. But everybody respect me. So I don't have to run with a gang of people. I know how to fight. So the homie Tran, he was watching. And I didn't know that bro was watching me. But one day Tran comes up to me and he was like, "What's up, bro? What's your name?" And I'm like, "Bro, what's up? My name Ryder. You feel me? What's good?" And he was like, "Bro, I've been watching you, you know what I'm saying? And when you get out," and I told him, he was like, "All right, you get out about 2 to 3 months before me. But when you get out, bro, I want to link up with you, you know what I'm saying? It's some money on the table." And I'm like, "What? What you talking about?" I'm thinking like, man, who this Asian dude, you know what I'm saying, see in jail? So this is my acronym for jail. JAIL. Just another inmate lying. That means 80-90% of dudes in jail be capping, bruh. No cap. They lie. They be telling you all these stories that they ain't never lived. You feel me? So I'm thinking he just one of them. But bro, come to the bedside, he pull out stacks of pictures. He got Hummers, he got money, he got Louis backpack, MC Young backpacks, and all this stuff. Super bad females. And he was like, I'm gonna talk to you when I touch down. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, all right, whatever, bet. So he gave me his number. He said, when you get out, call this number and give me your number. So as soon as I get out, I called the number. It was this girl. I said, "Hey, this is my number. It's for Tran. Tell Tran to hit me." I left it like that. I didn't think Tran was gonna hit me up. About a month later, I'll never forget, I was at my sister's house. About a month later, Tran calls me. I can't make this up, bro. He was like, "Ryder, what's up, bro? I'm out." I'm like, "Oh, that's what's happening." He like, "Where you at?" I'm like, "I'm over here in the north off of Hal." He like, "Give me your address. I'm about to pull up right now." I'm like, "All right." I gave him my address. This dude, Tran, he pulls up 8 cars deep. Hummers, 5.0 Mustangs, 350Zs, Infinities, like motorcycles. Bro, he pull up Porsche trucks. This dude, he pulls up 8 cars deep. And I come outside and I'm looking like, what the hell? He like, "Come on, bro, hop in." I can't make this up, bro. I hop in. And he was like, "Bro, we go straight to the doctor." He had a plug at the doctor. See, back in those times, before weed was officially legal, you used to have a cannabis card. But the only how you can get a cannabis card is if you go to the doctor. Once you go to the doctor, you get a cannabis card. You can keep, I think it was like a pound on you or 2 pounds at a time. You feel me? So, bam, that same day, we go right to the doctor. He cashed out the Asian doctor, give me a cannabis club card. He like, "Bro, I'm about to take you to the farm." We go straight to the farm, bro. This dude has acres with weed on. He has acres with a barn shed. In the barn shed was all the seeds, the vitamins that you need to feed the plants. And on this field, these acres, it was nothing but bushes. You know what I'm saying? Tree weed bushes. You feel me? Bud bushes. And then he had a house. He had a house right here, and he had like a little shed right there. And inside the house is where he had a whole set of workers that if you know the process of growing tree, right? When you grow the tree, once it's done basically, blossoming in a bush, you cut it down, you take it, you turn it upside down, and you cure the weed. You feel me? When you turn it upside down, all the THC would come straight from the stem straight to the buds. Once it dry out, then you will take the buds off and then you trim it. You feel me? And that's when you cut the leaves off. You know how you see the marijuana leaf? You know what I'm saying? But we don't blow the leaf, you know what I'm saying? You blow the bud. So you cut the leaves off. So he had a whole farmhouse that was strictly doing the leaves, right? He was, trimming and whatnot. So I met everybody. And first thing he gave me, you feel me? He gave me my gun and he gave me a car. This dude gave me a 5.0 Mustang Fox body. I can't make this up, bro. He gave me my gun. It was a 9mm. He gave me a car, 5.0 Fox body, and then he gave me $1,500. And he said, "Bro, this is what we do. This is what I need you to do." He said, so 3 days out the week, and it was me and this white dude that was on rotation. 3 days out the week, you know what I'm saying, I will sleep in the field. So I had a section, his acres was big. So I had one section of the acres, you feel me? And I had a tent. Now out there, he had a whole tent set up with a generator, with lights, and you can have your radio out there. You can do whatever you want, have your food out there and whatnot, but you had to sleep outside in that tent because there was people who was hopping the fence, trying to come over the fence, you know what I'm saying, cut the weed and take the bush. So my job was to basically secure it, you know what I'm saying, to make sure nobody did it. And then I would be on for 3 days. And then after the 3 days, he would let me pick any car. But I always used to pick the Mustang Fox body. You feel me? It had super slap, super fast. So he would give me, literally, I can't make this up. He would give me $1,500 every 3 days. So I would be on for 3 days, be off for 3 days. He would give me $1,500. He would give me a pick of my cars, but I always picked the Mustang. And then he'd give me he'd give me 2 zips of weed for the remainder of the 3 days. And I can do whatever I want to do with the weed. You feel me? Smoke it, sell it, whatever. And that's how he programmed. I can't make this up, bro. And so I was doing that. Well, I never forget this, bro. This is how God worked. So one night, you feel me? One night on my 3-day shift, I remember I woke up. No. I remember the daytime, the neighbor, it was this Mexican dude. And I never really spoke to him, but one day he ended up seeing me in the backyard, you know what I'm saying? And he was like, hey, let me talk to you. I said, what's up? He said, hey, man, I'm not for sure what you're doing, but be careful. And I looked at this dude, I'm like, what? He was like, hey, man, you know, God loves you, but anything can happen, man. Just please be careful. And I'm thinking like, bro, who the heck is this dude? I don't even know this cat, never seen the cat until that day. Don't even speak to this dude. I'm like, all right, whatever, bro. You feel me? Bam. That same night, I go to sleep. I'm knocked out sleep in the tent, and I hear, so I wake up. I'm like, what the heck is that? And the tent he had, you can unzip like a part of the tent, and it's like a window. You can unzip it, and you can see out. I unzipped the window of the tent, and I'm looking. It's 3 dudes standing in the backyard. One of the dudes had a bolt cutter. And this dude was cutting the tree bushes. You feel me? He was cutting the bushes from the root, and then they had a tarp outside that was cutting the bushes and putting the trees on a tarp. And they had a truck, but I didn't know it at this time. Excuse me. They had this truck backed up to the fence. So I'm like, hey, what you doing? And when I said that, they look and they, oh, man. They hopped the fence, and you hit a, and they drove off, right? So I called Tran immediately. I'm like, hey, bro, come out here. Somebody did it. So Tran ended up coming out, and he see it. Now me, because I know how the game is, I don't want him to think that I sent somebody over there to, you know, saying to take the weed. So I didn't touch nothing. So that way he can come and do his own inspection. Because, you know, in that kind of game, bro, you would get knocked off if they feel like the inside man is trying to rob him. So he come, boom. He look at it. He see it. He was like, okay, bro, you good. Bam. The very next day, I can't make this up. The very next day, I'm asleep. And when I'm asleep, I remember I woke up out of nowhere. I didn't hear no sounds. I didn't hear nothing. I woke up and I looked at my phone, and it was 3:47 a.m. It was 3:47 a.m. And I'm sitting there thinking like, why am I up? And it reminds you, you know, when you on a farm, you smoking weed all day. So I should have been knocked out curve. 3:47 a.m. I wake up. And I'm landing on my back, and I'm hearing, and I'm like, what is that? I unzip the window, and I see there's 4 dudes outside. I see 2 dudes that were cutting the bushes, and they had a tarp again. And one dude, he had a Mac. At this time, I don't know what it was, but, you know, after the case, it was a Mac 90. For those who know what a Mac 90 is, you know. For those who don't know, go look it up. But basically, it's an assault rifle. You feel me? It take 223 bullets. You feel me? The whole 9. But Cuddy had a Mac 90, and it was another dude that was right on the side of him. So now, my tent is right here. This is my tent. They're standing right here with the Mac 90. The other 2 dudes are in front of them, and all this is covered with the bushes, and the tarp is right here. The fence is right here. So they had their truck backed up to the fence, and what they were doing was taking the weed and throwing the weed over the fence into the bed of the truck. So I'm like, what the heck? And I see the Mac 90. I'm like, hey, what y'all doing? And I do the same thing. But this time, when I say that, nobody ran. This time, the dude with the gun, he tells the dude next to him, he pats him and he points to the tent. And he was like, he pointed to the tent. So, and this is when I realized he got the Mac 90, and I'm sitting there like, oh snap, right? I'm like, oh, this dude's about to kill me. So I grabbed the 9. I had a 9. So I grabbed the gun, and I remember thinking, I prayed. I was like, God, forgive me for my sins in Jesus' name. If I die, I die. Please forgive me. I remember praying that prayer, and they was walking towards the tent. And I remember I came to the tent, and the tent's on the ground, so I'm squatting. And the front of the tent, you got to unzip it, and then you come out the tent, right? So I had the gun in my hand, and I remember I squat down by the front of the tent. I said my prayers, like, God, forgive me, heart beating. And then I unzipped the tent. And as soon as I unzipped it, zoop, I came out. Bah, 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 bah. I just started knocking. In my mind, I'm thinking like, bro, he about to eat me up with that Mac 90. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was an AK, but it ended up being a Mac 90. But I'm like, bro, about to eat me up. You know what I'm saying? I got a little handgun, bro. He got an assault rifle. I'm about to die. That's what I was thinking. So I just came out busting, bah, 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 bah. And I'm just shooting everyone. And when they seen that, they was like, oh snap. They all ran. They ran, they hopped the fence. When bro hopped the fence, he dropped the Mac 90 on the side of where the tent was at. He dropped it, they hopped the fence, hopped in the truck, and I scored off. So immediately I called Tran. Tran came over there, some other people heard the shots. They started, and it was like 3:47, 4 in the morning. So everybody started coming. Once Tran and them got there, you feel me? They all had the flashlights. Now remind you, I didn't even see that they dropped the gun until about 5:36 in the morning. When the light came on and we're standing there, so basically what Tran was doing, he was doing a number count of the bushes. You know what I'm saying? He was seeing what they took and et cetera, et cetera. Then I see the Mac 90. And he was like, oh, bruh. And I pick it up, and it was a Mac 90. He had a scope on there with a beam on there, 223's full clip. Bro was coming in there to air me out. You feel me? And Tran was like, bruh, here, you can have this. This is for you. And I took the gun. You feel me? I go home. Bam. I get paid $2,000 that night. You feel me? I go home. And I remember I broke the gun down, blah, blah, blah. So every gun I ever had, I would break it down and put it together. Break it down and put it together. Break it down and put it together. So I broke the gun down. I put it in my sister's house. I put it in different pieces. Bam, bam, bam. And because, she got kids. So broke the gun down, put it in pieces. And then I remember sitting there that day. And crazy part, it didn't even register to me how close I was. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't have a repentance heart, if that makes sense. I wasn't like scared. You feel me? Like when I was, in a game as a P, saying with the 304, my heart was all softened up for her story. But when that happened, I wasn't like, oh my God, Lord. It was just kind of like, no, I got me a Mac 90. You know what I'm saying? It was like that, right? So bam, I go back after my 3 days. But when we go back, because of the incident that took place, Tran was like it was too hot. So we end up cutting all the trees down, and he ended up buying a trap house in Meadowview and Sac. So we end up buying a trap house. And in Cali, our trap houses ain't what y'all think. I know most people think a trap house is a abandoned house or a ghetto looking house. In Cali, our trap houses be nice houses in nice neighborhoods. But when you walk inside, it don't be nothing in there but a couch and a TV. You get what I'm saying? It don't be no beds. It don't be nothing like that. It'd be a couch and a TV and a little bit of food in the refrigerator. So from the inside of the house, it's a trap house. From the outside of the house, we stay in a nice house with nice neighbors and a nice neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? So that's how the trap house was. So he ended up buying a trap house. So we move everything to the trap house. Now I become a trimmer. You know what I'm saying? I'm trimming up the tree. We hanging it upside down, curing it. We trimming up, and the goal was we had to trim up 2 pounds a day. If you ain't never did that, bro, to sit there all day and trim weed up to 2 pounds is a lot of work, bro. You feel me? But he's still paying $2,000 driving any car, 3 days on, 3 days off. So what changed in that? Basically, the operation kind of got shut down. So when I say kind of, this is what happened. So the boys was on us, they was on Tran, and we didn't know at the time, but this is how we found out. So me and one of the white dudes, so the dude that was coming to take my place, you feel me? Bam. When he got there, he was like, hey, bro, he wanted to go to the store. I'm like, all right, bet, I'm gonna snatch you to the store. So, we hop in a whip, we drive to the store. We go to the store, I park, he hops out the whip, he goes inside the store. When he come outside the store, I noticed, because I always watch my surroundings, I noticed that the police had, went past us as we was going to the store. I noticed them and I made sure I kept my guard up. Then once he came back in the car, we backed out and I'm driving back to the block. I noticed that when I backed out, the police had came around again. That double take was suspicious to me. But I never encountered or ran into the police. But I don't know what white boy was on. So when we came out, bam, we go, we park. The police is following us now, right? So when the police is following us, instead of me parking right in front of the trap house like usual, I drive past the trap house because I don't want to bring heat to the trap house. You feel me? So I drive past the trap house. Bro was like, bro, where you going? I'm like, bro, you don't see these police behind us. So I drive past the trap house. I go up the street. I make a right. They pull us over. They pull us over. The cops come to the car. They take me out the car, take him out the car. Now, this is the weirdest thing. They put both of us in the backseat of the car, but they drive us to this dude's house, bro. And I'm sitting in the cop car like, bro, where we going? My rights wasn't read to me. And I'm like, bro, where we going? Now, the whole time, Cuddy's in the cop car talking. And for anybody who don't know, the cop's cars is always recording your conversation, bro. So don't talk. He's in the cop car talking. Oh, bro, they about to go to the house. And then when we get to his house, they leave both of us in the car, and the cops go in his house. Now, remind you, it ain't 2 or 3 or 4 cop cars. It's these same 2 cops. You feel me? They're going to his house. And he's in the cop car like, oh, bro. I'm like, bro, why you nervous? He was like, bro, I got heck of bullets in the house, bro. I got 223 bullets. I got 9mm bullets, bro. They're going to find all them bullets, bro. And I'm on probation. I'm on parole. They're going to lock me up. But I'm like, bro, you shouldn't speak in a car. And he was like, oh, bro, it's too late now. They're going to find it. They go in his house. They came back out. They tell him, hey, bro, we found your bullets. You're going to prison. So now they're talking to me. Who are you? Where you from? This and this. And now by the time we get to his house, I done made a whole story up. I'm like, hey, man, I know him. I just picked him up from the light rail station. Why was you over there? He wanted to go to the store. You feel me? So I said, I don't know nothing about no gang activity. I don't know nothing about no activity or nothing. This is the homie. You feel me? He told me to snatch him from the light rail and he wanted me to take him to the store, and then y'all just put us over. Why did you stop over there? Because I seen you following me and I got nervous. You feel me? So they end up dropping me off right by the car. They drop me off, boom, and take bruh to jail. Immediately I call Tran. Tran, this is what happened. This is what's going on, et cetera, et cetera. You feel me? So off the dribble, once I call Tran, now they're trying to figure out why I'm not locked up, why he locked up and I'm not. So it was almost like the tables was like, am I telling them I'm working with the police? Why he in prison and I'm not? So now everybody in the trap house is looking at me and I feel the tension. They kind of trying to figure out why bro went to jail. And I'm telling them exactly what happened. Well, about a day later, when bro actually was able to call, he called Tran. When he called Tran, we was in the trap house. He called Tran. He talking to Tran. Tran had him on speaker. He's talking on a recorded line, but he's talking reckless on the phone. So after he get done talking, Tran was like, hey, we gonna shut this down because he was admitting some stuff on the phone. He was talking about the trap on a recorded line. It was suspicious. So Tran was like, bro, we gonna shut this down and move the location. But me being me, I didn't appreciate the fact that they felt like I had something to do with anything. Like, first off, bro, I just lost my life twice for this gang. You feel me, bro? I just got into a shootout for this game. Why you gonna accuse me of even being a snitch or being something that has, I'm suspicious. That was out of pocket. So after that day, when he was gonna move the trap, I put Trent to the side and I said, bro, I don't appreciate that you guys assumed anything, bro, and I'm not feeling it, I'm out. And Tran looked at me. He was like, all right, bro. He was like, well, look. He's like, man, look, I can give you 5 bands and let you keep a car, or I think he was trying to give me like 5 P's. And you can do whatever you want to do with it and then just, come back to me and buy your piece from me. So he was basically saying he'll front me five pounds and then basically put me on. And then from that point forward, I'll just come buy pounds from him. You know what I'm saying? But I was already kind of done with the whole situation. So I took the 5 bands and the whip and I skedaddled. You feel me? Once I skedaddled, I'm in the game still. You feel me? I'm doing my thing. Then I end up getting called for one of the ministers, Minister Eddie Brown. Man, I hope he's doing good. That's a real gangster right there, but a real man of God. So Minister Eddie Brown from my gospel rap days. He ended up hitting me up. Hey, bro, what you doing? And I tell him what I was doing, and he used to be a real like gang banging factor. So he was one of the mentors that I had to where I can tell him my struggles and not worried about people judging me. And he understood, he didn't call bodies and everything. So he was like, listen, bro, he knew this one lady that had a group home for the youth, and she was looking for somebody that can run a group home. So he was gonna make me in charge of it. So he talked to the lady. Bam, I get hired at the group home. I'm working in the group home, but she wasn't paying me. She was just giving me free room and food. So it was kind of like I felt stuck, right? Now, at this time, this is when I first meet the homie Yeshai, aka Jesse Delgado. So Delgado reached out to me through my music. Everybody knew me for Christian rap. He reached out to me. Hey, what's up, bro? He was like, hit me up. I want to do a song with you. So I hit him up. And I tell him my situation. Yeah, man, I'm at this home. You feel me? I'm not really making no money. Things a little bit struggling right now, etc. And Jesse said something to me that I never heard before. He said, "Hey, bro." He said, a lot of people in the church, they always talk about how they, how we're supposed to help each other, but they never do it. He said, but he said, this is the time where you need a brother. This is the time where we are supposed to be true to what we're saying. He said, so, bro, you don't really got nowhere to go. You trying to get on your feet. He said, come stay with me rent free and let's do this music. He said, I'm going to help you as a brother. And I'm listening. I'm on the phone like, the heck? So, I asked a couple people about him. They said, bro, he's authentic. So then I'm like, all right, bro, give me some time. He's like, all right, no rush, bro. I just want to let you know, bro, that, we need real men in God and in faith, not just people who's talking it, but people who's doing it. I'm like, bet. So I'm like, okay, I'm considering it. But at this particular time, I'm kind of getting back into the church. So one of the homies, Dallas Hicks, aka D Hicks, he a gospel rapper too. Go check him out. Him and his wife, they hit me up. So it was supposed to be this big show we was going to. And he was like, hey, Ryder, I'm going to come get you. We're going to go to the show. I'm like, all right, bet. So on this particular day, I get stupid fitted. I'm dressed nice. And Brody catted off on me. He didn't even come get me. He didn't even call me. They just didn't show up or answer the phone. So I'm kind of mad, right? So my little brother at the time, he stayed like 5 houses down from where I was staying at. Now I'm in South Sac. And for the sake of this story, I'm not going to say where I'm at or what street I'm on, because I ain't trying to catch no charge. But I'm going to give you a false destination. I was in South Sac on Meadowview Road. Let's just say that. So I'm in South Sac. And I walked to my brother's house, and he was like, hey, bro, I'm about to go to the store. Do you want to come with me? I'm like, bet. You know what I'm saying? So me and my bro and his wife's sister, she had a scraper, a Buick. She was like, she wanted to go to a store. She was going to take us to the store. So me and my bro hop in the car with his sister-in-law. Bam, she slid us to the store. Now, in the store, you feel me, it's like a shopping center in the store. So you know how some shopping centers, you might have like a donut shop, a liquor store, a smoke shop, a Thai teriyaki spot, you know what I'm saying, whatever in that shopping center. So when we go there, right? Now, when we go there, this is my second shootout. Now, pause. So I'm going to tell you about how my name used to ring in the streets. So my name used to ring so hard, right? One of my partners, his name is JB. He a white boy. And if you listen to my first testimony, I think I mentioned my brother in that story. But JB a white boy, you feel me? And he a Crip. So at this particular time, people in SAC know about me. My name used to ring, so I used to have some fear on it. Even though I was in the church, it still carried that weight. So JB got into it with his baby mama. His baby mama had a brother. He was a Crip from Mississippi, but he was locked up in the pen. So bruh just came home from prison. So he ended up getting into it with JB, and JB was like, I'm gonna have my partner Ryder come up here and shoot this whole spot up. That's what he tell him. And bro was like, Ryder? He was like, man, who is Ryder? I'll smoke Ryder when I see Ryder. And JB baby mama knows exactly who I am. And she was like, oh, Ryder is such and such. So dude was like, when I see him, I'ma smoke him. So then JB calls me, right? He was like, hey, bro, I need you to come up over here and beat this dude up real quick. And I'm like, What do you talk about? Now, remind you, it was like 2, 3 in the morning, and I had to do work the next day. So I'm like, bruh, I'll talk to you in the morning. I hang up the phone. JB calls me again. Man, forget that little punk job, bro. How much you making? 60, 80 bucks? I'll pay you $100. Come over here and whoop them. I'm like, bro, don't call me with your nonsense, bro. Hang up the phone. JB call me again. So I spaz out. I'm like, bro, stop calling my phone, bro, before I spaz out on you. Bam. So that incident happened. 3 months later, no, I'll say 2 months later, right? 2 months later, fast forward, bam, me and my little brother. Now we at the store, right? We in the little plaza center. I never forget this. So I'm inside the store with my brother. And my brother, he smoked at the time. I didn't. So he was getting some swishers. So I'm like, bro, buy me a Hershey, a cookies and cream Hershey bar. He was like, all right, bet. So he bought me a Hershey bar. Bam. It's broad daylight. It's heck of people in there, right? Because it's like a plaza and it's in the hood. So I'll never forget. We was walking out the store. My brother walked out first. Now, you know, most stores, when you push open the door and they'll slowly close. So my bro walked out first. He pushed open the door. I'm walking out, but I got my head down and I'm ripping open a Hershey bar. So I'm ripping open a Hershey's bar and I hear, that's that right there. There he go right there. And when I look up, I seen the female. It was JB's baby mama. But at that time, I didn't register it. I seen her and I'm like, she looked familiar. That's the first thing I thought. She looked familiar. Now I'm stepping out the store and I'm like, she looked familiar. And then the dude, I see this dude, he started running up to me and everything happened in slow motion. I can't make this up. Dude started running up to me and he looking like he about to swing. So my first thought was, he's gonna swing, I'm a duck, I'm gonna come up, I'm gonna knock him out and I will hop in his car. That all happened. So he's running up, he launches, he swings. I duck, I come up, I go to fire on him, he jumps back, he pull out his gun. He was like, yeah, what's up now, cuz? Talk that smack now, cuz. And I'm like, whoa. I'm like, bruh. I'm like, I don't know you, bruh. And I'm still not registering who she was at the time. So everything is happening. And I'm like, bro, I don't know you, bruh. And my little brother, he tried to run up on him, but it was like he had one of his partners. And his partner was like, run up if you want to, cuz. So my brother was like, he stepped back and he was like, Kev, run, bruh. And me, I didn't want to run because I ain't trying to get shot at my back. Like, nigga, if you gonna bust me, you gonna have to bust me in front. Like, you're not about to just bust me running and I'm getting all hit in the back. Like, nah, I wasn't gonna do that. So I'm looking at bruh and I'm like, put the thing down, bruh. Put the thing down. And he was like, nah, cuz you say he's gonna do what? And then he tried to hit me with the gun. But every time he trying to hit me with the gun, I'm doing this. So he's trying to hit me, but he's missing because I keep, backing up. So he's swinging it. And I'm backing up. And I'm like, bro, now remind you, the 7-Eleven door is right here. So I'm like right here. We came out the door. This happened. I'm right here, right? So the 7-Eleven door is right here. So I kind of backed up and I'm like, bro, I don't even know you, bro. Put the thing down, bro. I don't even know you. He was like, yeah, cuz you gonna do what? And then he tried to hit me again with the gun. And when he swung it, I backed up. But I'm thinking in my mind, why is this dude trying to hit me with the pistol? And then I thought, he was trying to hit me with the pistol because he was a sucker, meaning he wanted to shoot me, but he couldn't shoot me looking me in my face. So I felt like if he would have hit me with the gun, and if I would have been like, then he kind of would have bust me and then, got running. So as I'm thinking that, I'm like, bruh, I don't know you. And then he tried to do, no. I'm like, bro, I don't know you. And he was like, yeah, cuz you know me. And then when he tried to squeeze, now I'm not making this up, bro. When he tried to squeeze, now if you know a gun, guns are different, but most guns, when you want to eject that clip, there's a button on the side, you feel me? And you hit that button and the clip will fall out. When he tried to squeeze on me, the clip fell. But it happened in slow motion. The clip fell and I'm like this and I looked and everybody looked, the clip hit the ground. Boom. The female, she sees it, she hurry up and grabs it, boom, and gives it to him. And when she heard it grabs it and give it to him, he put the clip in. And he was like, yeah, cuz. And I'm going to tell you my first two thoughts I had. As I'm sitting there looking at him, I got so mad. My first thought was, if this dude kill me, I'm going straight to hell. That was my first thought. I looked at him and I was like, bro, if this dude kill me, I'm going straight to hell. And my second thought was, I was so upset because, the number, and this is crazy, right? People don't think about this. For those who like to control things, right? You want to control situations. You like to control the outcome of things. I mean, we're human, right? You like to control what happens in our life. But at that moment, the most important thing, which was my life, I had no control over it. If dude was decided to pull that trigger, he would have took my life, and it would have been nothing I can do about it. The most important thing, your life, when you're in a situation like that, you realize you don't even got control. You feel me? And like I said, if Brad would have decided to shoot me, it would have been over. And because of that, I got so mad. And I was just so mad. And I was just like, I was mad. You feel me? I wasn't scared. I was mad. And when he put the clip back in, he was like, yeah, cuz. He cocked it and he go to hit me again. Now, at this time, he go to hit me. Now I'm standing in front of in front of the door, right? And I'm thinking like, all right, bro gonna hit me. I'm like, I'm gonna let him hit me. But when he hit me, I'm gonna spin off this way and I'm gonna open the door. You feel me? And go inside 7-Eleven. So he swung, I let him hit me. Boom. And when he hit me, boom, I spent off and I open the door and then I go inside the door. Now I'm facing him. I'm inside the 7-Eleven, but he's looking at me and I'm looking at him. And he go to squeeze it, he up it, but then he pauses. And it was like he came to him senses. He looked and it was everybody was in there. The females was in there. The dude in the store was in there. Everybody was in there watching the whole thing. Even the girls was like, ah. Everybody took that breath. You feel me? And he looked and he paused. And it's broad daylight. And he was like, I'm going to catch you on a rebound, cuz. I'm going to catch you on a rebound, cuz. And then the girl, and the dude, they hop in their car and they did. And I waited. And then I came out. I hopped in the car with my brother. And we did. We went to my bro house. And my brother kept saying, I'm sorry, bruh. I'm sorry, bruh. Bruh, I'm sorry, bruh. Because he didn't do nothing. And that also made me mad because if the tables was turned, if my brother would have been in that situation, bro, we both would have got shot, or I wouldn't have let no dude pull a gun out on my brother and watch my brother get shot, bro. Like, I wouldn't have did that, bro. I couldn't sit there and watch some dude, basically about to kill my brother right in front of me, bro. Like, absolutely not. That wouldn't have happened. Like, if my brother would have just tried to or something, you know what I'm saying, whatever the case. But I understand the situation. But he just kept saying he was sorry. He was sorry. And when we get to the house, you know what I'm saying, we end up calling our partner, you feel me? And, free my partner, man. You know what I'm saying? I hope he locked down for a murder case. Actually, he ended up getting life for another murder. But he's one of the solidest dudes I ever met, you feel me? Dre Fetty. And so we ended up calling Dre. But my bro told him that I ended up getting shot. So when Dre heard it, he was like, what? He slid all the way from North Sac to South Sac. And for those who in Sac, that's like 30 minutes. He slid from North Sac to South Sac in 10 minutes, bro. He came through, bam. You know what I'm saying? And at that time, now remind you, I'm a Christian. You know what I'm saying? I just came back to the Lord. I just talked to my brother. I'm about to go do a Christian show. I was supposed to go do a Christian event, like all this stuff, right? And when bro came through, he had a dread wig and a ski mask, and he had a 9. And I took the dread wig, I put it on. My little brother took the ski mask, he put it on. And we go to the apartments. Now we knew, once I realized who it was, I knew who the female was and where she stayed because that was my partner's baby mama. You feel me? So I knew exactly where she was and where she stayed. So when we pull up to those apartments, now it was nighttime, we waited. Now we had a partner in the apartments. We pulled up on the daytime, but bro wasn't there. So we had a partner named Chop. Chop was like, bro, when bro come outside, you feel me? I'm gonna call y'all so y'all know he outside. So Chop, we waited all night, bro. It's like 10 p.m. Now this incident happened daytime, like 2 p.m. We waited till like 10 p.m. Bro was outside with a couple of his crib partners. And Chop called me, bro. He outside right now. So boom, we pull up, bam. We pull up to the apartments. I put the Dre wig on, put the hoodie on, my bro put the ski mask on. You know, Dre gave me the gun. Dre stayed in the whip. So you feel me? I remember coming around the apartments, and how the apartments was, it was a building right here. It's like a building right here and a building right here. You feel me? So it's like a building here and a building here. And if it's like a building and a building, their front door was right here. I come creeping on this side, you feel me, from the apartment. So I'm standing like this. Their front door is right here. So as I'm seeing, bro, I walk up and I'm seeing their apartments. The dude was sitting there telling the story of what because everybody knew me, you feel me? So he was like, yeah, I caught that dude Ryder. I caught that, that N-word Ryder at the stove, bro. I was about to air him out. He's talking and I'm hearing, bro, telling the story to these cats in these apartments that knew me, how he caught me lacking. And as I'm hearing them telling the story, I just remember like, I felt so upset, you feel me? And I remember I had a thing on me. And you know what I'm saying? He was walking to his door and he was talking to a dude, walking to the door, and there was like 3 other dudes standing by his door. And I remember when he got by that door, I came from around those apartments and I got the errand. Walk up, 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 walk up. Now in my mind, I mean, I'm seeing everybody fall. I'm seeing everybody dropping to the floor, boo, boo, boo. So I'm thinking I'm killing people. I'm really thinking I'm shooting these people and killing these people, bro. Walk up, walk up, walk up, walk up, walk up, click, 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 click. The gun, you feel me, ran out of bullets. So I hop back in the car, boom, we drive off. I get the gun to the homie Dre, give him the dread mask. He dropped me back off at the home I was a manager of. He dropped me back off over there. Bam. So and then my brother, Dre and my brother that night, they went straight to Oakland, from Sac to Oakland. They drove, because my brother thought that I was killing people. I mean, you seeing people scream and they're dropping to the ground. He thought I knocked some people down. I thought I knocked some people down. So my bro with Dre, they go straight to Oakland. I go back to the home, you feel me, to the house in Sac, literally 20, like literally right up the street. I go back there. As soon as I go in, I turn on the news. Nothing. I'm on the news all day. Nothing. 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 Maybe about 4 hours later, I get a call from JB. You feel me? He calls me. I hang up the phone. I say nothing to him. Watching the news, nothing. The next day, I wake up in the morning time. I wake up, turn on the news, nothing. Now, this is what scared me. I remember I woke up. I walked into the bathroom to wash my face, and I looked at myself in the mirror. Now, remind you, in my mind, in my heart, and my soul, I thought that I killed these people. I thought that I shot these people and took their lives. And what scared me, when I looked at myself in the mirror, I thought that there was a demon in me because I didn't feel no remorse. I didn't throw, you know how the movies, they say you throw up and you all that stuff. I didn't throw up. I didn't feel bad. I didn't feel happy. I literally had no emotion. And when I looked at myself in the mirror, it scared me because I thought that I took their lives and I didn't care. And then I was like, man, it must be a demon in me. So then I ended up calling my mentor, Minister Eddie Brown. I ended up calling him. And, he's a minister, he a man of God at this time, but he's been in our life. And I call him and I tell him, I'm like, hey, bro, I just did something. And I kind of explained to him, but he understood what I was talking about without talking about it. You feel me? Because we on the phone. He understood exactly what I was talking about. And I was like, bro, is there a demon in me? Because I don't feel nothing. Like in the movies, they say you're going to feel something. I don't feel nothing. And he was like, bro, no. And then he started talking to me. He started ministering to me right there. He was like, just ask the Lord for repentance because I felt like there was a demon in me because I didn't feel nothing. And then I asked the Lord for repentance. He prayed for me. And then as soon as I got off the phone, JB calls me. Bruh, you lit that, that mother up, bro. You lit up the whole spot. I told him, bruh. And I'm like, anybody dead? And he was like, nah. He was like, bro, you shot it up though. He was like, bro, it was bullets all in the house. He was like, bro, you aired that out, but you didn't hit nobody. And I'm thinking like, I could have sworn everybody was, even my brother thought that we was hitting people, but they were falling to the ground, ducking. And when they fell to the ground, I'm shooting at the ground, bro. Like I'm thinking I'm hitting these, like they're on the ground. I'm aiming for the ground. Like that's how upset I was. He said nothing hit nothing. He said it was just bullet holes all in the house, all through the window, through the door, everywhere. It was a 17 shot, 9 milli. You feel me? And I emptied a whole clip, but I didn't hit nobody. And then I remember thinking like, that had to be God. But then I remember thinking like, I need Christ. I need Christ. And I never forget, Minister Eddie Brown, he came, he picked me up. I went to church. I prayed and I surrendered my life to Jesus. And then I called my brother Yeshai, Jesse Delgado, and I was like, hey, bro, I want to move in with you. And he was like, yeah, brother, come through, bro. You know, brother, let's do this music for the glory of God and let's get it going. And I moved in with my brother Jesse. And when I moved in with him, bro, we started doing this music. And I dropped my first album, Christ or Die. And from that point forward, bro, it was on and it was up. You feel me? And after that, you know what I'm saying? Now, the battle wasn't over. The war wasn't over. But that was just one season of my life that was done. And then from that point forward is when I started going, is when the music just took off. You feel me? The music took off. The Christian rap took off. I'm back in motion. I'm back in focus. And then my bro called me. And he was like, bruh, let's go to Colorado. I'm like, for what? He was like, bro, let's just do it. I'm like, I ain't going to Colorado. And then my brother came, he picked me up. And once he picked me up, he was like, no, he came to the house. And we was at the house, and he was like, bruh, let's leave right now. And me being me, I was like, all right, let's go. Bam. I hopped in the van. We slid to Colorado. And once we slid to Colorado, what happened out there is what changed my entire life. Stay tuned for part 3.